By your mom serving you, she continually reinforced your value, how important you are. Elena, by mom feeding you, I know you're right there. Your value continues to be reinforced and enhanced each time you are attended to, my love. Oh, I know you're yawning and you're bored by now. Because, we take it for granted when we're children. We take it for granted that it's going to be there. But servanthood is Jesus' message. And we are called to be servant leaders. And that is different from the understanding of leadership throughout the world. But we are called by God, as God's beloveds, to be servant leaders, to bring value and enhance the value of each person that we meet. And we can't do it alone. God's grace is critical for us to be able to move through the things that are not comfortable for us to do, or might be a little scary for us to do, or a little bit out of our comfort zone. But the water of baptism is a symbol of God's grace abundantly flowing through us, around us, and living on the Cape Yuha, seeing water no matter which way you go. When we used to own the inn, people would say, how do we know when we get to Provincetown? And I said, you hit water. Because no matter which way you look, you're going to hit water. We are surrounded by God's grace. And so, by putting other people's ahead of our agenda, and we did that at the beginning of Mass. We put Armina's needs ahead of our beginning of liturgy, but actually our liturgy began as we gathered, and it continues on. By putting other people's needs ahead of our planned agenda, then we are of service to them. And we are letting them know that they are valuable, and they are important, and they are loved. Because Christ-like servant leaders are motivated by love. And it's that love that God has first given to us that empowers us to love others. And so, when we put people ahead of our own agenda, we develop a confidence and security to take some risks. We might connect with people that we might not typically be with. We might see someone who's alone and go to sit with them or talk with them and value them. We look for a need and we take initiative. If there's trash on the beach, we pick it up and we dispose of it properly. We look for a need of someone who's alone and we go to visit them, or we give them a call. And if we don't know of anyone, you can go to any assisted living care or nursing home, and there's going to be a lot of people who don't have regular visitors and they would love a visit. We perform small acts anonymously. People don't have to know who did that kindness for them, who might have paid forward a coffee at Dunkin' Donuts for them, or maybe even Starbucks. We're following Christ. We're learning to walk slowly through a crowd so that we can see the people who are around us, rather than plowing through to get to wherever we are going. And I'm very guilty of this, of plowing through. But when we dare to slow down, or if we turn around at the grocery store and see who's in line before us, it might be someone we haven't seen in 10 years, but by golly, we are so focused on checking out, we never turn around to see who's behind us. And we begin our day reflecting on the love that we have for others and that they have for us. We are servant leaders. Our world needs leaders. Our country, our state, our town need leaders. And that's who we are called to be. We are called to be Christ-like servant leaders, to be of service to others, and to also be of service to ourselves, to attend to the signs that our bodies are giving us, to serve our body well by eating nutritionally, to serve our body well by getting rest, and to serve our souls well by feeding them. Go out, hug a tree, walk the beach. And if you can't walk the beach, just sit in the parking lot and look at the waves. We need to be nurtured, and we deserve it. And the more we are able to nurture ourselves in service to the gifts of who we are, the more we are able to be service to one another. I invite you to share what thoughts you may have on these readings.
This morning I was in Boston with the Sisters of St. Joseph, and we were raising names for our leadership of the Associates group. And one of the main qualities that are looked for is service and leadership as service. And that's what leadership is meant to be in every aspect, whether it's political, nonprofits, families, and church. So it's nice to be here where we're doing it in church. Thank you.
I really like your, for me, redefinition of servant as we grow. I think, seeing room, I think my husband, so I'll tell you this experience. My husband was in Cape Cod Hospital. Some of the most wonderful people were persons of color from other countries, and they were so cheerful and so wonderful. And I'll have to say the same about Liberty Common. And one of the ladies I ran into about a week or two later, and she was in Stop and Shop, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you." And she came over and she gave me the biggest hug, because we had a nice little chit chat while my husband was in Liberty Commons, and she was telling me that most Americans wouldn't take the job that she had, which was coming in every day and dumping the trash. But yet she told me about herself and about her country, and it was just really beautiful and very, very loving, and it taught me a lot and allowed me to tell these people who were really keeping my husband comfortable and his room clean and all, how wonderful they were and how helpful they were to our family. And so I really like your discussion of a leader doesn't have to be elected when they're a servant, but they're helping and loving somebody else.
I'm having a memory of taking a job when it was very difficult for me to find a job. I took a job with day services, with offering to people who needed to be supported. And I was not particularly enlightened and so forth. And I had to care for people who were nonverbal. And I had to bathe them, and I had to take care of them, and clean up after them in a very direct and primary way. And it took me years to understand that I had been transformed by doing that work, because I had actually been a servant.
I'll take that. Thank you. Every day when I go into work down at the VA clinic, I see men and women that have done the ultimate service, and that service to our country, with the risk that service could have ended with them being dead. And luckily the ones I see aren't. So I'm often and every day humbled, and from my point of view, feel privileged to be able to sit with these men and women and join in with them for the time that I'm sitting with them. So, all right, next.
I have been a hospice volunteer for a very long time, and like both Ruthann and Ryan has spoke, just being present is so meaningful. Sometimes the person isn't even awake, but the presence and the acceptance is impressive to me. The acceptance of what they have to go through. So, thank you.
You're called. We are chosen. We are very, very blessed.